With the prevalence of social media these days, I don't think it's a long shot to suggest that it actually influences how we think and how we live our lives. And I remember back in high school, whenever I saw people, updating their relationship statuses to in a relationship, then I would get kind of jealous. And when it came time for us to graduate and people started updating their statuses to say that they got into college or they were going to such and such college, I would get jealous and feel inferior once again. So in that case, I was the inadequate social media viewer. And then in college, I remember people used to post those stereotypical pictures of themselves at parties holding red Solo cups, making themselves look really cool, like they're having a great time. And then I wanted to emulate that so I could reap those same rewards. So I became the pompous social media poster at that point. But I think both of those mindsets are, as common as they are, not very healthy. So I want to talk about both of those a little bit in length to illustrate why that's the case and how instead as an alternative you can still use social media without letting it take over your life. So first let's start off with the pompous social media poster mindset. And again, that's the person that always needs to be posting something whenever something happens in their life. Whenever they buy a house, get married, go out and do something, whatever. And I'd argue that's not healthy for many reasons. I mean, for one, it's obviously not very modest because you're forcibly drawing people's attention to the fact that you accomplished something so that they congratulate you and pat you on the back. And I've talked at length about humility before, and you can definitely check out my other videos on that for more context. But I also think it's kind of childish because it's one of those very middle school, high school-y things to do to just need people to constantly pay attention to you on social media. And furthermore, to only do things because you want that attention, rather than having a more substantial reason behind why you're actually doing it. So think, for example, entering into a relationship with somebody just because you want to be able to update your relationship status versus actually doing it because you really like that person and you want to actually be in a relationship with them and build that connection over time. The former is probably not going to last for a very long time. Or think, for example, climbing Mount Everest because you just want a photo of you at the top of it, rather than doing it because you actually want to challenge yourself and overcome adversity and practice a hobby that you really enjoy. And if nothing else, that attention high, in quotes, isn't going to last very long. Because even if you get very excited about posting something and then you get all the attention that you want, which comes in the form of likes and comments and things like that, then ask yourself how long you think that's really going to last. It's probably not going to last longer than a day, if even. And so then what happens? You're just going to want to keep coming back for more the next day and the next day after that so that you can keep experiencing that high and kind of keep that alive. So in other words, you're fostering an addiction. And an addiction is arguably never healthy because you could use that time to do something else that's far more productive and less stressful than having to worry about what people think all the time. Now, the inadequate social media viewer is the guy who is always looking at his news feed, feeling a bunch of negative emotions when they see people post stuff because they think everybody else is out there living much happier, healthier, more adventurous, and successful lives than they are. And that's not a healthy mindset, not just because those negative emotions aren't healthy to begin with, but also because the perception is inaccurate. It's not true that people are out there having much happier, more successful lives than you. Because you got to understand that they're doing what's called selective reporting. They're only showing you the high point of whatever it is they're doing, and they're not showing you pictures of the low points where they're just lounging around at home in their pajamas or something. Obviously, they're only going to show you those times where it makes them look really good. And also, it's a little deceptive because even when they look really good and everybody looks so happy in the picture, it doesn't mean they actually are. Because just think back to whenever you were at a social gathering and you posed for a picture. It's kind of more of this attitude of, all right, everybody, let's look like we're having a great time and pose for this picture so we can post it on social media later and get a bunch of points for it, when in reality, we're not really having that great of a time. And you got to remember, they want you to feel that way. People want to be envied so they can feel better than everybody else. So in a way, you're playing into their hands by giving them what they want if you're doing that. So instead, try not caring and try just feeling bad for them because they're obviously trying to fill this massive void in their life because they have that need and you don't if you're able to rise above that. Now, on a final note, I'm not at all saying that you can't use social media and there's no merit to it at all. I actually think there is merit to it. I mean, I use it just to stay in touch with people and you can do the same thing. I'm just saying don't be obsessed with it where you take it too far and you're constantly posting stuff every time something happens in your life and you're constantly questioning your sense of self-worth because that's not very healthy and it's just completely off base. So instead, if you're not already looking at things this way, try looking at it, try this outlook out, let me know how it works for you, and I'd love to hear from you. So with that, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.